Welcome, night dwellers, to Paranormal Nightshift, where the veil between the living and the unknown grows thin. The shadows tell their secrets, and the things lurking in the dark step forward to be heard. I'm your host, Gideon, your guide through the eerie, the unexplained, and the downright hair-raising. If you're here, it means you, like me, have an insatiable curiosity for the strange. And maybe you've already felt something watching from the corner of your room. Before we dive into tonight's story, I have something special for you, a gateway into another realm of the supernatural. Visit paranormalnightshift.com to claim your free copy of The Birth of Dimensional Desperado, the first eBook in our Dimensional Desperado series. This is where Buck Shadow Sheriff Freeman's journey begins, a tale of time, ghosts, and mysteries that refuse to stay buried. Trust me, you won't want to miss out. But for now, it's time to return to the darkness. Tonight's tale, The Altar, comes from one of our listeners, Kayla. It is a chilling first-hand encounter that will make you question how thin the barrier between our world and the unknown truly is. Dim the lights, shut the door, and whatever you do, don't look behind you, and let's begin tonight's story. I never expected to share my life with something unseen, something that lurks just out of view, waiting, feeding. But looking back, I should have known. My husband should have known. Years before he and I ever met, he was experimenting with druidry and witchcraft, drawn to the power and mystery of the unknown. He wanted to create a sacred space, an altar in the woods where he could connect with the energies of the earth. But, in his eagerness, he ignored the safeguards, the protections that the guidelines he followed so clearly outlined. He shaped the altar into a pentagram, carving it into the earth with deliberate hands. He placed items at each of the 5 points, symbols meant to channel energy and open doors. And he did open a door. It started almost immediately. That very night he found himself locked out of his own house. The deadbolt, which could only be turned from the inside, had somehow engaged independently. His children, just little ones at the time, started seeing things. Black figures standing at the edges of their vision, shifting shadows that never quite left. They became terrified to sleep in their rooms, waking up screaming, unable to explain the terror they felt. Then came the objects. Things moved when no one touched them. Items were thrown across the room, sometimes appearing in places they didn't belong. The activity escalated, growing more and more erratic, until his ex-wife, desperate for peace, called a spiritual friend to cleanse the home with sage. And for a time, they thought it worked. But evil doesn't just disappear. It lingers, it watches, it waits. When my husband and I moved in together in 2021, we were in a rough spot. We had just recovered from COVID-19, not only from the sickness itself, but also from the financial strain that followed. Finding new jobs was complex, and the stress weighed on us heavily. The apartment we moved into wasn't exactly a haven either. It had a history, one stained with violence. There had been shootings there, multiple incidents of crime, and an overall feeling of dread in the air. And then it started again. At first it was subtle. The figures in the corners of our vision, flickers of movement in doorways where no one stood. Then they grew bolder, tall black masses looming in the doorways, standing just beyond the threshold. Scratches appeared outside our bedroom window, too high for any animal to have made. The night felt heavier and more oppressive, as if something was pressing on us, feeding off our exhaustion and fear. But when my husband's stress lessened, so did the activity. I realized that whatever this was, it thrived on his negative emotions. Eventually, we got out. We moved into a new house in a new state, with new jobs that didn't drain us to our cores. Things were supposed to be better now, and they were, until we found out we were pregnant. Almost as if something had been lying dormant, waiting for the right moment, the activity returned with a vengeance. The shadows came back, watching from the corners. Objects moved, seemingly of their own accord. Lights flickered on and off, and doors creaked open when no one was near them. Even our security cameras caught strange, unexplained movement, glimpses of something just outside the frame, something the system couldn't quite capture. Then, one night, it attacked. I woke at 1 a.m. to the sound of banging in the hallway. This was not just creaks or soft knocks. This was loud, aggressive, and deliberate. Then came the sound of heavy, pounding footsteps, as if someone was running at full speed down our hall. I froze. Every hair on my body stood on end, and my breath caught in my throat. For a split second, I thought someone had broken in. My mind raced through possibilities. Had I locked the door? Had a window been left open? But I knew every entrance had been secured. Still, my body reacted. I shook my husband awake, my hands trembling so hard I could barely grip him. He heard it too. We sat there, gripping each other, listening as footsteps moved outside our bedroom door. The dog growled low in his throat, ears pinned back, while our cats let out distressed, whining meows. Then the creak of a door. Not ours. The bedroom across the hall. That was enough. We weren't taking any chances. My husband grabbed a baseball bat. I grabbed a knife from our nightstand. We called 911. The next 10 minutes stretched into eternity. We stayed put, our ears straining, listening for the next sound. Something was lurking just beyond our door, but it wasn't breaking in. It wasn't even trying. It was playing with us. When the police arrived, they did so with their guns drawn, expecting an active break-in. But they found nothing. Every door, every window, locked. No signs of forced entry. The attic, the crawl space, clear. But one thing was wrong. The knife drawer in our kitchen was wide open, and a butcher knife was missing. We tore the house apart, looking for it. It was nowhere to be found. That was our breaking point. We couldn't let this thing, whatever it was, keep latching onto us. The next day, we cleansed the entire house, burning sage, setting protective barriers, reciting prayers, and doing everything we could to sever its hold. And it worked for now. The activity died down again. The figures faded into the background, becoming nothing more than occasional flickers in the dark. But deep down, I know it's not gone. Not really. It's waiting. Waiting for the next moment of weakness. The following crack in our defenses. The following opening is to step back in. And I don't think it will leave without a fight this time. And that, my fellow night dwellers, brings this chilling journey to an end for now. Kayla, thank you for sharing your incredible experience with us. Your story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the things we summon never truly leave. Consider supporting the show if tonight's tale sent a shiver down your spine. Over on Patreon, you'll get an ad-free experience, early access to episodes, and exclusive content, including all future adventures of Dimensional Desperado. Our Patreon members are the lifeblood of Paranormal Nightshift, and we give you plenty of extra perks, so don't miss out. Not quite ready for Patreon? No problem. You can still support us in a big way by subscribing to the podcast on Spotify and YouTube. And while you're there, drop a comment. Tell us what you thought of Kayla's story. Have you ever encountered something like this? Ever felt like something unseen was following you? Your feedback and stories keep this show alive. And before you go, don't forget to grab your free ebook. Visit paranormalnightshift.com to claim The Birth of Dimensional Desperado, the first installment in our supernatural time-traveling saga. This is where Buck Shadow Sheriff Freeman's journey begins. A tale of ghosts, lost time, and the thin boundary between our world and the next. Finally, if you have your own story, don't keep it to yourself. Head over to paranormalnightshift.com and submit your experience. Whether it's a whisper in the dark, an encounter that defied explanation, or a presence that just won't leave, we want to hear it. Until next time, keep your senses sharp, your lights dim, and your mind open. The night is full of secrets, some just waiting to be told.